Okay, I'm Sara here from Hot Paper Lantern with Sara, who is the co-founder and president of Bravely. Sara, take a minute to talk to us about what Bravely is, and then we'll hop into a conversation about coaching, which I am thrilled about.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. Uh, Bravely is a platform that connects employees to confidential, on-demand coaching to support them in what I call we call the moments that matter most and the moments that define their employee experience.
Okay, tell me about that. What are some of these moments that matter in that employee experience?
I think we can all relate to being a new employee, getting a new boss, becoming a manager for the first time, coming back from parental leave or preparing to go out on parental leave. These are all moments that can really impact positively or negatively, how the employee experiences their life at work. And if you don't have the support mechanisms that you need to navigate these sometimes tumultuous times, it can set you off on the wrong path, lead you to either start looking for another job, lose productivity. And that's really where we come in. We're there for people to, if they're not yet ready to go have a conversation with their manager, for example, about something that's going on with them, they can come to Bravely and work with one of our coaches and figure out what that next step is. What is the action plan going forward? Get some empathy and support as well, but really leave our sessions with, like I said, a path forward and a blueprint for how they're going to deal with whatever they're facing.
So for our audience who might not be as immersed in this world as you are, tell me a little bit about what coaching is and how traditionally organizations have tapped into that.
Yes. So as you can imagine, coaching historically has been reserved for the top level executives within a company who are often not a diverse group of people, right? So what we're trying to accomplish through Bravely is offering equitable access to something that has historically not existed for those of us who are lower down on the food chain, so to speak. And we still also have executives using Bravely. We offer it population-wide, typically to organizations, so every employee gets access. So regardless of what your role is, what level you are, what your background is, what your sex is, what your race is, you now have access to something that normally only the top tier of leadership were able to go to in times of need.
This to me is a fundamental shift in the past years and 100% where I think we need to go in the future for anyone who is going to be trying to be their best as a professional and trying to find meaning in their work and their lives. And so I'm thrilled that this is the direction that we're headed and that Bravely is in that and helping to make that happen. Can you talk to me a little bit about especially because we're a marketing communications agency, that skill set of communications and being a professional communicator? How does coaching help support that?
Pre-COVID, I would say that was one of the number one things that we were coaching people through was how do you communicate effectively so that your words are received rather than potentially rejected. Very often employees, they go to ask for something and they haven't really thought it through. Maybe they've gone to the people in their personal life, their friends, their significant other, and they're really passionate about their stance. And these people who are so well-meaning in our lives often just pour gasoline on our already burning fires rather than challenge us to take a look at what our part is in whatever situation is going on with us, to think about our tone and our delivery, to ask us what's the outcome you're really trying to produce, what's the outcome you're trying to avoid at all costs. Like all of these ingredients are really important to you figuring out how to communicate effectively. And coaching just opens up a whole world for people. I've literally seen one 45-minute coaching session transform someone's approach to speaking with their manager or speaking with their direct reports or a colleague, and having them really take ownership of their part and the role that they play inside an organization. And so I think, the power of coaching is helping us become more self-aware and recognize, I often hear our coaches ask, how do you think what you just said in the tone that you said it will go over? And a simple question like that can just change everything.
Yeah. It's such a powerful and important skill to have right now because of the pandemic, the economy, the political landscape. I mean, there's so many things that make everything unclear. And one of the things that I've appreciated the most from my own experience with coaching is the clarity that comes with it and the ability to just be able to focus in then based on that new awareness and go after whatever it is that needs to happen next.
Yeah, that clarity right now in the midst of all the chaos is so important. People are really suffering right now, and coaching has moved from a nice to have to a must have. I think a lot of companies are focused on providing mental health support and resources, which are necessary. But I see coaching as sort of the first step before things could get worse for someone, right? So we carry around an incredible amount of stress and anxiety associated with work. And if we don't have an outlet or a resource to help us deal with those things, to help us create those blueprints and action plans for going forward, they fester, they grow into larger problems. We either leave the company, sometimes we get let go, but
Yeah.
they're very often solvable problems that just aren't being talked about. And sometimes it's just somebody not understanding how to ask for more opportunities to develop or not sure how to get to the next level. Like, it doesn't have to be doom and gloom. There's a lot of positivity that can come out of coaching. And right now, it doesn't feel like it's necessarily the moment for that, but it is. You should still be seeking out ways that you can grow, even in the midst of so much happening in the outside world. And we've been hearing from employees who are going through what I would call unprecedented levels of burnout. There is no, you and I were talking before about being mothers, there is no separation between work and home right now. And it's causing people to feel an enormous amount of stress and strain, and they aren't able to shut down, right? And so coaching is a great way for you to talk with someone about, building the discipline around your day or figuring out like what you need to do to fill yourself up to survive, or what feels like, a survival mode right now.
Yeah, very much so. And I know historically, a lot of times sales and marketing teams will really tap into coaching. But I'm curious about what's kind of shifted with the pandemic. We were talking before about new ways that you're seeing your business and coaching impact organizations. Tell me more.
Yeah, a major focus recently that we've been hearing from a lot of our clients is a renewed focus on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, which is music to my ears. It's something that I'm super passionate about. But quite honestly, there were not a lot of budgets available for resources around DIB. But now, because of the climate that we're in, because of a lot of the racial injustice that continues in our country, companies are really taking note and starting to understand that they need to offer support to their employees in new and innovative ways. And so it's exciting for me because I know that coaching, I've always wanted Bravely to support those first and foremost who struggle to raise their voices at work, minorities, women, people of color, who've been historically marginalized. And we've actually taken it a step further recently at Bravely and have developed a new product that we call dialogue spaces, where we're working with our clients to offer small group spaces for people to come together with one of our coaches, and they facilitate a dialogue around these really tough topics, race, or talking through like how people can be better allies. And so it's work that we're incredibly proud of. and just furthers our mission to make life at work better for everyone.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here and sharing all of this with us. And I wish you well as you keep working on it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.